Hey, so for this lesson today, you're going to need your blue Wit and Wisdom book and your purple circulatory story that looks like this. If you don't have it, I'll take some screenshots for you. Otherwise, you're going to follow along with this, okay?
Hello, fourth graders. Welcome to Wit and Wisdom in Sync. I'm Mrs. Webb. Let's get to work. For this lesson, you will need your copy of the circulatory story, handout 9B, Evidence Organizer for Figurative Language, handout 9C, booklet, your Wit and Wisdom in Sync journal, and a pen or pencil. Pause the video now if you need to collect these materials. Okay, so we already found the main idea and details about blood vessels on pages 14 to 19. We're going to look back at these pages and see what we can uncover when we look closely at text features and figurative language. Okay, just a quick reminder. Figurative language is when we use words that we cannot take literally and don't mean exactly what they sound like. Remember I told you that example of raining cats and dogs? That's not what was happening, right? Or when the author compared the blood cells to inner tubes, right? There are not really pool parties going on inside your body. Those are examples of figurative language, but they make things fun and interesting to imagine, so that's why we use them. So we are going to look for more examples in the circulatory story today. So let's find it. Go ahead and open your book to page 14 to 15. And we are going to see if we can figure out what new figurative language is used to describe the heart on these pages, and what does it mean. Okay? If you have your book, you can go ahead and look at page 14 and 15, or I have the text here on the slide. I will go ahead and read this text, and when you hear figurative language, I want you to touch your nose. Ready? Blood doesn't just slosh around in your body after it leaves the heart. First, it goes through another valve, the aortic valve. Then it travels through blood vessels, which are like the tunnels of a super subway system. The main goal of blood vessels is to nourish body cells by bringing them things that they need, like oxygen. Blood travels throughout the entire body in different types of blood vessels. The main kinds of blood vessels are arteries, capillaries, and veins. Arteries carry blood away from the heart. Veins carry blood to the heart. Capillaries connect arteries and veins. Okay, so did you tap your nose? What did you hear? How about blood vessels are like the tunnels of a super subway system? That's great! Just one more quick reminder. I love figurative language so much, I have to tell you one more thing. Do you know what kind of figurative language this is? Blood vessels are like a super subway system? That's right, it's a simile. Similes are when the author compares two things to show us an interesting feature. So they use words like or as to show us how two things are similar. That's why they're called similes. Now let's think about our second question. Why does the author say blood vessels are like tunnels of a super subway system? In case you've never been on a subway, let me show you what the New York City subway map looks like. Here's the New York City subway system. Each line here represents different subways, different trains that travel around the city. I want you to take a moment to look over this and think about how is this like the circulatory system? So a few things that I noticed. A subway system is built to take travelers to all different parts of a city. The tunnels are the framework for the tracks and where the trains travel. This is like how blood vessels are the tunnels through which blood travels. They go in different directions and have different functions, even though they're all part of the same system. Some subway tracks lead away from the city, like the arteries carry blood away from the heart. Some subway tracks lead to the city, like veins carry blood to the heart. And then some tracks connect lines to each other, like capillaries connect the arteries and veins. Okay, now let's take this information and add it to handout 9B, our evidence organizer for figurative language. In the first column, we put what is being described. Today we're talking about blood vessels. For the evidence,
So this right here is in your blue Wit and Wisdom book. Open to it until you see where it says 9B. Unfortunately, this is not labeled, so you're just going to have to find one that says 9B. If you don't have it, I also have a class kick for you too.
what is the text comparing it to? This is where you will fill in that comparison to the tunnels of the subway. Exactly. You can write down the page number and then the elaboration or explanation. That's really your own words to explain how does thinking about blood vessels being like the tunnels of a super subway system help you understand how the circulatory story works. So that is your check for understanding right now to analyze this figurative language about blood vessels. On your handout 9B, add blood vessels to the context column, review pages 14 to 19 of the circulatory story, and complete the rest of this row. Pause the video to do this now. Now we are going to use the information from our evidence organizer to make evidence elaboration sentence sets. Remember, we're trying to show how figurative language makes hard ideas easier to understand. Okay, so we have already worked together to take information from handout 9B, put it in complete sentences, and then transfer it to our handout 9C booklet. You're actually going to do this on your own today, so I want to give you just a few tips. Remember, I practiced out loud how's the best way to put all this information in complete sentences. So you can practice out loud putting the context and the evidence together. What is the author saying about blood vessels? Then under elaboration, I used this question, what does this help us understand, to start my sentence. This helps us understand, and then explained how thinking about the subway system helps me understand blood vessels. Okay? I take those great ideas and I write them on my booklet. So that's exactly what you are going to do now. Write an evidence elaboration sentence set about the figurative language used to describe blood vessels. First, in your evidence organizer, review the information about blood vessels. Then, on handout 9C, write and illustrate a sentence set about blood vessels. Pause the video to complete this now. Thanks for your hard work today. You did a great job thinking about how blood vessels are like a subway system and why thinking about this figurative language helps you understand the circulatory system. Who do you think worked harder today, you or your blood vessels? Think about that, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day.
And get working on that. When you're done, take a picture of it and submit it on Schoology for me. If you have questions, send me a message on Schoology. Bye.